But let's also go across to our guests who are joining us right now on the broadcast. Ramesh Sethuraman, organizer of that meeting inside the Kapaleeswarar temple, who's also been booked in the case, speaks to us, as does Mr. Vikraman R, who's spokesperson of the VCK, a party that's also an ally of the current ruling dispensation in the state of Tamil Nadu. So coming to you, Mr. Vikraman, first and foremost, what really are the grounds for which the FIR has been filed when this was a peaceful assembly that, according to the people who were present at the assembly, did not mention even the HRC department, they did not mention a single political entity, but the entire meeting was about forging a strong bond between the devotees of the temple and the authorities of the temple concerned. So why would you file an FIR in the first place?
See, first of all, their intention was to, preach this Own Your Temple movement. This Own Your Temple movement is an attempt by the Brahmins, along with the help of some antisocial fringe elements, to capture the Hindu temples from the majority of Hindu people. As in, like, there has been.
Sorry, Mr. Vikraman, but just to interrupt you there, Uma Anandan is actually on record, and she's spoken and she said that the words "Own Your Temple" movement or any reference to the "Own Your Temple" movement was not made during the course of this meeting. So what's really your basis to claim that that was the agenda of the meeting when the organizers have completely denied it?
See, then what is the purpose of such a meeting? Like all the Brahmins sitting there and spreading rumors, like, some illogical rumors. And I asked them very specifically, and if they are really concerned about the Hindus, the majority of Hindus, they should have let Hindu people to enter the sanctum sanctorum of the temples. That Kapaleeswarar temple, is all the Hindus allowed to become the archakas of that Kapaleeswarar temple, Mailapur Kapaleeswarar temple? No. Only Brahmins are allowed inside the sanctum sanctorum. And if they're really concerned about the majority Hindus, they would have allowed. See, the Hindu Charitable Endowment Board is created to make sure and ensure that majority Hindus are allowed to worship in the temples. Dated back to 1800, there have
right,
been
Mr. Vikraman, like, but you're obviously talking about a separate matter here, which is the takeover of the temples on the part of the HRC department and the parallel movement that's underway to liberate it. But that's not what the agenda of the meeting was, according to the organizers. Let me go across to Mr. Sethuraman to also set the record straight on this matter. Yes, Mr. Sethuraman, you yourself have been booked among the 74 others for having that peaceful gathering on the premises of the temple. Tell us about what the meeting was about and any rebuttal that you might have to offer to Mr. Vikraman.
Of course. So Mr. Vikraman is twisting the facts, and unnecessarily he is alleging a particular sect of the community. So no community has been stopped entering into the temple or praying. The intent of this specific movement, it is not even a movement, it is not a protest, it is not a political meet. In fact, even before speaking about everything else, it was clearly told, this is not a political meet, this is not to talk about any individual, it is not to talk about any departments of the government. Here, every day we are talking about, as the devotees, we keep on talking about our rights, but we also need to equally talk about our duties. When we talk about constitution, we talk about constitutional rights, but we never talk about our fundamental duties. So like this, we should become a duty-oriented society. And similarly, as far as Hindu, this thing is concerned, like other religions also who are properly doing, and we should appreciate it that, Christians going to church with their family, Muslims going to the mosque with their family, children. We should also ensure that we are taking our children to the temple, and we need to, so that, in future, the children can have, or rather develop, the spiritual quotient. Like they are, we expect them to have the IQ as well as EQ, that is intelligent quotient and emotional quotient. Vikraman, I will complete it and then you can answer. So in the meantime, what we have also said is, look at the increase in crime rates. Look at the more and more youngsters who are going to Tasmac, which is government-run liquor shop, they are completely being spoiled. One side there is a complaint that the Tamil Nadu youth not getting the job. The other side, if you look at it, many of the youth from the northern part or eastern part of the country coming to jobs in Tamil Nadu. It's all happening because of many of the youth who are getting addicted to the liquor and all these things. So we said, in order to have a peaceful society, in order to have a bright future for our children, we need to bring them to the temple. Also, don't think that my duty is to just come and pray. You also talk to the archakas, you also talk to any staff who is working or serving the temple, or anybody who is including the flower vendor or a fruit vendor outside the temple. So they are all part of the ecosystem. Try to help them. Even we said, even during the special occasions,
right,
the police officers themselves may have challenges because because of the crowd or whatever. So you try to help them as well, and that is all about the duty. Nobody spoke about anything else. So here the FIR has been filed again saying that so we have all congregated illegally. First of all, it is inside the temple.
Yes.
And second thing is, it gives the right to pray and also for a peaceful congregation.
Yes.
And the next thing is, if you look at it, I have a right to preach my religious thing, especially inside my religious thing. And what we also said is, it is not about large temple or the bigger temple. People come to meet the large, or people come to the larger temples. But if you look at it, there are even smaller temples, which need support. Please go there. It might be right next to your doorstep, or it might be in your native. Doesn't matter what God it is. So you have to own it, and you have to do your duty.
Absolutely.
It's what being conveyed, and no words more, no words less. And for this, if they are doing it this kind of a complaint and then making, it's basically an intimidation tactics. Nothing more, nothing less.
Mr. Vikraman, to be very honest with you, do you actually believe that the case that you filed against the 74 people has any legs to stand on in a court of law, when you can see on your screens that it is a peaceful meeting? It is members of the Hindu Sampradaya who've gathered inside the premises of a temple to discuss certain social issues. There's absolutely no political undertone to that meeting. They've not talked about the Free Temples movement either. Do you think that the government should actually withdraw this FIR? Because once this goes to the court of law, this will have no legs to stand on. So you're trying to, in fact, suppress an attempt at an exercise in free speech and expression.
It is, because we want to create awareness among the Hindus without
that was
political essence to adding any political essence.
To me, Mr.
We want to purely do it on the basis of spirituality and social aspects, and we want to ensure that.
Absolutely.
So that is what we are doing. And even for this, if they are trying to intimidate
right,
us,
Mr. Sethuraman, you've in fact put the record straight, and we'll also see what the DMK dispensation does about this, because clearly this is a case of overreach on their part. We'll slip into a short break. We thank both our guests for speaking to us on the broadcast. We'll come back with more updates on the other side.